Music, dance, theater. It's time to take a seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez. Hear from performers, producers, presenters, and creators who enrich our lives in the performing arts. Who's on stage? Here is Tom Alvarez to introduce you.
Hello, and welcome to On the Aisle with me, Tom Alvarez. My guests on today's episode are Central Indiana Dance Ensemble founder and executive director Suzanne DeLay and artistic director Ashley Jacobs. Join me now as I go on the aisle for a conversation with Suzanne and Ashley. Welcome, Ashley and Suzanne, to my podcast. It's so great having you here.
Thanks for having us.
We just discussed the fact that, okay, who knew? It's taken me this long to discover y'all. And so you were just telling me that when this show drops, it will have well been in the past, but your production of Nutcracker, you just did your 26th annual production?
Yeah, so 2024, 2025 was our 25th season. Yeah,
wow.
so this year we're celebrating our 26th season. So.
Well, I'm really bad for that. No, actually, I've been covering the arts a really long time, but I cover music, theater, and dance. And I wish there were more than one of me.
Right.
But, that says a lot about the richness of what's available in Central Indiana in terms of opportunities to discover and explore the arts. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of dance companies. I understand there are like 90-some plus dance schools in this area.
I'm sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, did you know that?
I didn't know there was that many.
Yeah, all over Central Indiana. And so obviously, so let's get right into it. You are the Central Indiana Dance Ensemble.
Correct, yes.
And you are basically a school, is that correct?
So Central Indiana Dance Ensemble is a pre-professional nonprofit dance company, a performing company. But we also co-own Central Indiana Academy of Dance.
I see.
So that's the school. The academy is the school, and then the ensemble is the company.
Okay.
So the company came before the school, though.
And Suzanne, you are the founder.
Yes.
Okay, so take me back. What prompted you to pursue this organization, the creation of this organization?
Well, I'm originally from California, so got transplanted into Carmel area.
Whereabouts, California?
Sacramento.
Okay.
I grew up in
I've
Sacramento.
been to Sacramento. My sister lived there a long time.
I danced with Sacramento Ballet there.
Yeah, okay.
So I moved here, and there was not a company like Central Indiana Dance Ensemble here. And, excuse me.
Why do you say that? What when you mean a company like?
Well, there was nobody was doing Nutcracker at that time. When I came here over 30 years ago, there were competition studios and recreational studios, but there was no youth ensemble company in this area.
In the 90s.
In the 90s, right, the early 90s. So I thought that there was a need for it, and Ashley decided she wanted to dance, and we had a few girls that danced. I taught at a studio for a while, and there was a strong interest for ballet, and in the Hamilton County area. So I looked around and thought, I don't know if I want to do a company in a studio. I was just working for somebody. My mentor, Barbara Crockett, who I grew up with in Sacramento, was very supportive and instrumental in me forming a company. She wanted me to form a company. She thought that would be great. So in Sacramento, when I was young, we grew up with an organization called Regional Dance America, and it's a organization of multiple companies, pre-professional dance companies, not just
Explain to me
ballet.
when you say pre-professional, what does that mean exactly?
To me, that means dancers that are studying for a professional career.
I see. It's more than a hobby.
It's more than a hobby. It's taking multiple classes, especially with ballet for the technique and that. So,
And all of our dancers are 18 and younger.
Right. So it's not professional of age yet.
I understand. Okay, so back to the formation.
So she encouraged me to form a company. I think we had 7 or 8 dancers in that studio that really, really wanted more ballet. They had gone away to some of the summer intensives, and the kids are going, well, why don't we do a Nutcracker? We hear all these other dancers are doing Nutcrackers. And so we formed a company and did our first Nutcracker 26 years ago.
Wow.
So.
And it was a whole different landscape up in Hamilton County.
Wasn't
right?
it?
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness.
Sleepy little town.
It was, right. And now I drive around, I'm going, this doesn't even look like the Carmel that when I first moved here.
Yeah. Why did you move here? You didn't say.
My ex-husband got transferred here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So,
That's how a lot of people got here, right?
Yeah. So ended up staying, and California was expensive.
And it grew on you?
It's grown on me, yes.
Yeah. Well, you've been able to see the continuum of development out there in Carmel. It's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So then what happened, as they say?
So I formed the company, and we did our first Nutcracker, which was crazy. We had nothing. I had no budget. We held open auditions, and I was hoping to get at least 30 dancers, because I thought if I could do 30 dancers, I could do the whole Nutcracker. If I didn't get that many, then I'd have to do probably Act 2, the suites. And I had more than 30. I think we had 45 or 50. So we put on a full-length Nutcracker. We look at that video to now, VHS. And, oh my goodness, I don't...
And where did you hold it?
At the time, it was Carmel Dance Center. And Teresa Brust had a big, it's where Meridian Music is now. And there was a little theater in her studio. And so we held it right there. And then...
I bet you had a lot of help from parents, didn't you?
Oh,
Those
my
kids who
goodness.
showed up and whatever, because their parents wanted them to have that opportunity, right?
Right. And we had parents that danced, the party scene and the adult roles.
Yeah.
We had no budget, so, we did. And my current husband, even danced in the party scene.
He also made
To
it
my
snow.
knowledge, I think all the companies in town who do Nutcrackers have their fathers and husbands and doing those parts, right?
Right, helping out,
Yeah. So you just took off from there. You found your peeps.
We
if
did.
You will.
We just have grew from there. So
We had it there for 2 years or just 1 year?
actually, we had it there for 1 year, and we sold so many tickets that we couldn't hold it there
It
anymore.
was standing room only.
So we moved to Westfield High School.
And so along the way, I take it that you took it upon yourself then to get a 501c3 and go through all of that stuff, right?
Immediately, we got the 501 after Nutcracker. Got the 501c3. In order to be a company with Regional Dance America,
Sure.
we had to be a 501c3.
And I take it you had to search out for supporters, board members, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Yes.
How was that for you?
I have to tell you, at that point, it was pretty easy because, like you
Sure.
said, there were so many people that wanted this to happen and really supported me, which I'm forever grateful for. And so it just kind of blossomed. It was a need for a dance company for young aspiring dancers to be able to dance. There was a lot of competition dancing in here, but there wasn't like youth concert group, which is what we consider ourselves.
Suzanne, you kind of represent what I have found in my own experience. And I was involved in the founding of a not-for-profit that's now 35 years old. So I love that about Central Indiana. I don't know that we're unique. Well, I think we may be. It's startups. You can start things here, and it's oftentimes people like you who come from other places, and like me, I yearn for something, and rather than complaining about it, I make it happen. Would you say you're one of those kind of people?
I would, especially in the ballet and the company and that sort of thing. Definitely.
Where did your interest in ballet come about? How did that come about?
Well, I was put in ballet at 4, and mostly because my legs were, I was very pigeon-toed. I don't think they call it pigeon-toed anymore, but I was turned in. And the doctor wanted to put me in, in the 50s, dating myself now,
Yeah.
but put us in, put the kids in braces, the leg braces, and with the white shoes, and Mom said no. And she had taken ballet in Los Angeles because she was from Los Angeles. And
So she was a dancer?
she was a student.
Okay, all right. But she
And-
passed it down. Yeah.
Yes, and
Okay.
she had heard that stretching and that really helps, and ballet's turning out, which is exactly opposite from what I was doing. So she put me in ballet, and then I just always took me to ballets, and that was in Sacramento, and so I grew up with Barbara Crockett and Sacramento Ballet, from practically day one with them. So.
And once you develop that love, it stays for a lifetime, right?
Right. There was a time after I quit dancing that I was really mad because I had, an injury, and I was mad because I couldn't dance anymore. And so I thought, I don't want anything to do with dance. I'm not. Ballets, I'm done with it. It's gone. And here I am. So it didn't last very long of me being done with ballet.
Yeah. And so, Ashley, tell me about you. You were a dancer, or are a dancer. Once a dancer, always a dancer, I
Yeah,
think,
so
right? And you're,
I am a founding member of Central Indiana Dance Ensemble, so I was
Okay.
part of that first group. I started dancing later when I was 10.
where did you go? Where did you train?
So this is Suzanne's my mom.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now I get it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
Yeah, so she tried to get me into dance when I was younger, and I hated wearing tights.
Why?
I don't know, maybe it's just the feeling of them, or they
Yeah.
were too tight.
Too
I don't know.
constrictive.
Yeah, too constrictive. So
And some days she wanted to go, and some days she didn't want to
I
go.
see.
So,
it was
so
like-
she, just like at any parents are like, okay, I'm not going to fight you every day to
Yeah.
come do this. Like, you either want to do it or you don't want to do it. And
Right.
as a parent now, I understand, like, okay, you're right, the fight's not worth it. So I danced a little bit when I was younger, but then when I was 10, I went to go see a dance recital. And honestly, I liked the tap dancing and the jazz. I liked the tap and jazz. I liked the music. I liked the costumes. And I was like, Mom, I want to do that. And she's like, no. Like, coming from a ballet background, she's like, I don't think so, but we'll try it. So we tried it, and then
Well, the condition was if she took tap and jazz, she had to take ballet.
Okay.
She couldn't just take tap or jazz. She had to take all 3 disciplines.
And where was this? There.
it was at Carmel Dance Center.
Okay, I see.
So, and which doesn't exist anymore. But we were there for a while, and then she started the company. I was really far behind, so luckily she had a background in dance. So, lots of private lessons and tears and all of that to get me caught up. And then when she started the company, all of us company dancers really took off with our technique and got significantly better. Again, with joining Regional Dance America helped a lot, seeing other peers and what they were doing and performances and, really going, oh, that's what, all of us want to do. And then from there, I went to, graduated from high school, went to University.
Where did you go to high school?
Carmel High School.
Carmel High. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so.
An incubator for the arts. It
Yeah.
seems like
Yeah.
all their programs are just first
Yeah,
class.
arts or sports. So, and so then I went to University of Utah and studied in ballet for a year, and then I went to IU in their contemporary program because I was a little homesick, and so graduated from there, and then joined staff.
Great
So,
training. It
yeah.
sounds like.
Yeah.
What's out in Utah? Is there? That's not Sadler Wells out there, is it? The ballet company or
Ballet West.
Ballet West.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So.
So the ballet exists in Utah, big time, right?
Yeah, their university. It's now. Back then, it was a ballet and modern. They were separate, but now it's like the Department of Dance. They've come together. So it was kind of funny. The ballet department's in the basement, and the modern department's in the 3rd floor, and they never did anything. And now it's all one department.
Yeah,
so.
and IU's program is pretty prestigious as well, is it?
Yeah.
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 So let's go back to ballet. What is it about ballet that you both love? Ashley, tell me.
I really like the precision of it. You know, the just working on the positions and the correct positions and the muscle control, and so that side of it. Because my degree's also in kinesiology. So I really like that aspect of it. But then, you know, when you're watching a dancer on stage, you know how hard it is, but like how effortless they make it look. Like that's my favorite. Like I know how hard we've all worked for this, and then watching them on stage and they're like, make it look like, you know, anyone could do it.
And you may or may not know that I'm a critic, and one of the things I love about the performing arts is to see how the technique is so impeccable that the effortless, the idea that it looked like it just happened, and yet you know there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into those leaps and those turns and.
Yeah, that's my favorite part is just seeing them, especially because we're a youth company, you know, like seeing them get it and like look, like you said, like effortless.
And the precision and the structure. You got to really like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the detail, the devil's in the details.
Yes.
I always like to look at ballet dancers. I like to see what they're doing with their fingers and their wrists. It's so precise, you know. And it's especially if it's a core piece and they're all completely mirroring each other. And I know that work is really tedious, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we always talk about that in the studio, that, you know, like that's the hardest part is dancing with each other. It's not dancing by yourself. It's dancing, you know, as a group, as a core member. You know, I always watch, if I go see a show, I always watch the ones in the back.
You know, I always like my listeners, many of them are professionals and many of them are, you know, all different kinds of folks. I like to ask these kind of questions. Okay, so why do you all dance in front of those big glass mirrors, those walls? What's the reason for that?
To check, make sure that you're doing the positions correctly. However, as students, I think they rely on it a lot. It's a good question.
And what about the ballets or the bars that one sees in dance classes and you know, what are those for?
So bar comes before the center work, and so just to get them, you know, feeling on their balance and getting them to feel the positions better and work a little bit more rotation and turnout and higher legs and not be so worried on if I'm going to fall over.
Right.
You know,
Something to hold on to, basically.
But we do talk about, you know, you can't rely on that. Like right now, yes, it's there to help you, but all these positions, all these steps at the bar are meant to be done in the center without the bar. And so, you know, our level ones who are 6 years old, they like hang on to it like it's a monkey bar. But then by the time they get to like, you know, our level 9, you know, high school kids.
And then that's the beginning where they start training their bodies to do to bring their legs up in the air, right?
Yeah.
Those acrobatic feats. Yeah. So tell me about your love for the ballet. What is it about the form that has...
Well, for me, I love performing, or I did when I performed. That was one of the things that I liked about ballet was I wanted to get on the stage and I wanted to do that. I think the discipline of ballet and the preciseness of ballet worked for me. You know, some kids they just gravitate. They want that perfection. They want to know this is where that step happens, not just kind of happens here. So that's probably for me what really held me to ballet.
Well, would you say technically ballet is a sport and it's approached the same way professionals?
I wish it was approached that way a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I wish you were supported too financially, right? Ticket sales.
And, you know, I think that
treat these people like they're serious. They work. They work
right.
hard to perform for
exactly.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I tell the girls, from your rib cage up, it's soft and effortless. That's where you're just gorgeous, and you have to make your audience look like this is. And then I said, from the rib cage down, you're working like a workhorse as hard as you can, so that.
So let's talk about the performance part, the drama. There is some acting skill required to be a good dancer, is there not? Let's talk about that. It seems to me, in my years reporting, the dramatic skills have improved. There's like in any kind of acting, film acting, theater acting has evolved over the years. It used to be very melodramatic and and now it's much more natural. Would you agree? And in ballet as well.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, there wasn't so much talk about artistry. And especially when I was young. I remember it was just technique. And I was very fortunate that I was able to project. Some people just have a face that just does it. And I was very fortunate with that. My Barbara did not have to tell me, Suzanne, you need to smile or you need to do it. And
you had to learn how to act, a character.
Right.
Take a character and bring it to life.
But today I think that we talk younger about artistry, and we talk about developing that and really using your head and your face as in class.
Explain the term again for newbies who hear these terms. Musicality. What does that mean? When a dancer has excellent musicality, what does that mean?
So it means that I always say you gotta get on the music. So dancing with the music, but real musicality is not only dancing on the music, dancing on the counts if you're not music, but also taking that music and feeling it in your body so that you project outwardly not only the steps, but the steps with the music and then into the artistry so that your audience is captivated by you.
You draw them in. Storytelling.
Right.
And what about when it's referred to as the dancer's personality, bringing personality to it? Is that one's own personality? Okay.
I believe it's one's own personality. I just had a conversation, in fact, with one of our dancers, and I said, you're smiling like your face looks like Miss Suzanne told me to do this. And I said, I don't want you to smile like I smile. I want you to feel it in your body. I want you to feel the variation that you're doing or the concert piece that you're doing. And I want you to feel it, and I want it to feel so good in your heart that it just radiates on your face about how you feel, how the music makes you feel, how the steps, are designed to flow with the music, and you all flow together for musicality, artistry, and then your own self.
Well, that sounds awfully familiar to an acting technique of you want to portray truth. What's your truth? It's not disingenuous. It looks real.
Right.
It doesn't look like pasted on your face smile.
A genuine happiness that you're doing this, not just.
So that's what sets apart the special dancer than just the ordinary kind of performance, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do spend a lot of time on performance in that manner. You have people on your staff who. How do you do that though? How do you spread out the training? How does that work?
So at the studio we have 9 instructors.
Wow.
But with the company we have 5 artistic staff members.
Okay. All former dancers?
Yes. So all former dancers. The assistant artistic director, he danced with Arkansas Ballet.
You want to give a shout out to these people?
Oh yeah, so
absolutely.
So his name is Paul Tillman. He grew up in Dallas, but danced with Arkansas Ballet. And then our ballet mistress, her name is Megan Tillman, so the husband and wife team. She is an alumni of ours, so she went to the University of Utah for ballet, and then also danced with Arkansas Ballet, which is where she met her husband, Paul. And then we have our youth director, Anna Davis, and she danced, grew up going to Vaganova Ballet.
She's at Washington.
SAB, Washington Ballet, and then danced for a little bit with Indianapolis Ballet, and then because of an injury has come taught with us for the past 5 years. So.
And what drew all these folks to Indiana? Various reasons.
Well, Megan grew up here. She's an alumni, but also she graduated from Carmel High School.
Okay.
I think Paul came because Megan came. And then Anna got a contract right before COVID with Indianapolis Ballet. So that drew her here. But her parents were living here as well, so I think that helped.
Where do you operate? Where is your studio? Studio or studios?
Studio. So we're at 146th and 31 up in Carmel Westfield border, right by Clay Terrace. So.
And how many folks are in your company?
So we have 73 dancers in our company.
How many people were on stage for Nutcracker?
135.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that also you showcase all your students. They are on there.
All of our company members, but that's not all of our students at the academy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's what makes a ballet presented by a school. It sets it apart from the professional, as you get to see all the various stages and the various ages, and nothing more captivating than an innocent, uninhibited child out there.
Yes.
They steal the show, don't they?
Yeah. Nutcracker, our ginger snaps are the youngest ones, and sometimes they run off and they go, "Hi, Mom."
Yeah, I have seen productions where that happens.
Yeah.
It's so people, it's so heartwarming. People just melt. They love it.
Yeah, we have a set of twins, and they're 8 or 9 now. But when they were the ginger snaps, I remember one of them put her hands over her eyes, and the other one was like, "Yeah, where's Mom? Where's Mom? Do you see her?" in the middle of the show.
Well, there's a reason why in so many popular commercials they're set in like a school's little pageant or something like that. You see that a lot, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that. It's like an easy sell when you've got kids up there performing. Yeah. So, tell me about your families. What makes for a dance parent, a dance mom? That popular show, Dance Mom.
Well,
I think there was a reason why it was so popular because the moms were characters. So
so was the dance teacher.
Yeah, exactly. But tell me about those dynamics. How do you manage parents? And I know your answer is going to be diplomatic because they're listening.
They might be listening.
I think
How do you deal with
I was going to say, I think we're very lucky.
How do you deal with those who are entitled? Well, my child's special, and I expect.
Oh, we don't have any of those.
How do you keep it? How do you manage it?
I have to say,
your relationship.
I would have to say, over the years, how many years I've been teaching, over 35 years, there have been very few parents that I've had to deal with that felt their child was so entitled.
But when they do
Stage
feel that
moms we're talking about.
But when they feel that way, they're very. I'm trying to think of the word, very firm, very, you know what I mean, very aggressive, I should say, in their feelings, but they're not.
And what I do is I just have a private conversation with them.
Yeah.
And I think the way we are structured, because for all of our productions and also for the company, we hold auditions. So, many years back, I had a dancer who did not get into a piece that was being choreographed from an outside choreographer, and her mother was furious with me. I said, well, this is the reason she didn't get in the piece, and by the way, let me show you the video. And I happen to have a video of the audition, and she acted like, well, I'm at this level, and so I'm going to get the part, and didn't try. And so we talk about past experiences with other parents, and I don't really think that in the last, I can't think, it's been a while since we've had a parent that really
Sure.
felt that their daughter
Well,
was
that
entitled.
show was, it's very, those shows, that's why they call them, they need to be good TV, so,
Well, if they weren't like that, nobody would watch it, and it wouldn't have been
Exactly.
popular.
There's
right?
gotta
the way
be
she
some-
did it too,
Yeah.
Did you watch the show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, with the pyramid, I mean, in real world, we don't put them in a pyramid. We're
Yeah.
not like, hey,
Yeah.
she's the best and you guys are the worst,
Yeah.
and you better,
Yeah,
or
put
this
all-
week she's the best.
You
Like,
put your good
you'd never have
dancers in
kids.
front and the bad ones in the back.
I think if it was in reality, if that was not a show, that woman would have gotten sued a long time ago and been out of business.
Yeah, well, it's like all of those housewives shows. You gotta
Right,
have some
right.
drama.
Right.
It's scripted. A lot of it's scripted. So, but we digress. In real life, though, it sounds like you guys, your experience, you know how to manage people, and you also, it sounds to me like you have use psychology, do you not, of some form?
I think so.
Yeah. Do you have any training in that?
No, not at all.
But I also think our parents know that we have a plan for all of our kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, we're just going to, like you said, throw them in the back. It's like,
Sure.
okay, maybe she's not ready for this part yet, but let's get her ready for this
So you
part.
try to be sensitive to their unique growth.
Right, and what their goals are. I mean, we talk a lot about, you guys got to know what your goals are. If you just want to dance until you're a senior in high school and you graduate, great, that's fine.
One of my favorite things about reporting and observing the arts over the years is what happens to these kids who are in these youth programs and theater and dance, and I have been around long enough that I have seen them, I follow them consciously, and I see kids that I saw 25 years ago in various programs around town, like in theater, Footlight, and various places, even Michael Feinstein's Songbook Academy, and the dance schools. These kids who started on indie stages, and some of them are appearing in major ballet companies on Broadway or touring companies. I love that, don't you? Do you have folks like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, tell me
Okay.
about some of your success stories.
Well, we have quite a few dancing currently, and of course,
I don't want to put you on the spot,
no.
but if it...
I was just
so-
trying to think of order-wise and who we talk about first. We'll just talk about Price Suddarth, who was started with me, and his senior.
But he really
What
wanted
was
to do
his
musical.
name?
Price Suddarth.
Okay.
He wanted to do musical theater,
Mm-hmm.
and he's from Westfield, and I was trying to get him into ballet classes because if you do musical theater, you're going to be the triple threat, and so he didn't want to do ballet. He tapped. He was a good tapper.
Why didn't he want to do ballet?
Didn't think he needed it, I think.
Okay.
So we talked about it a little bit, and his parents were very supportive of the arts, and so it was at the time that Moving Out was on Broadway, and I had seen it, and I said to his parents, I said, take him to Moving Out, because
Remind me, that was based on, what was
Twyla
it?
Tharp.
There you go. Indiana choreographer, Indiana born.
And
native, yeah.
it was Billy Joel's music.
That's right.
So in that cast, the original cast, Ashley Tuttle was in it, who was a soloist at the time. I think she may have been principal, I can't remember, with ABT, American Ballet Theater. And John Celia was in the cast, who was with ABT. I think he was principal with ABT also. Trying to correlate to Price. They're on Broadway, but their background also was ballet. And Elizabeth Parkinson, she was in it too. So he went, his parents took him to New York, and they went and saw Moving Out, and he came back and he goes, tell me what I need to do.
Okay.
So for the longest time, he didn't really want to wear tights, which I was fine with that. Let's just get started, wear your, it's like
Basketball
bicycle pants over your and your basketball shorts, and, let's start that way. And so he got into the ballet, and I remember the first time he goes, Miss Suzanne, I think I need to wear tights. I go, yeah, Price, I think you do need to wear tights.
Well,
So
this brings me to a topic that I like to be transparent about because I think it needs to be discussed. It's the elephant in the living room. Why aren't there more male dancers, you know? And frankly, I'm so sick of how over the years that, that it's been, there's always been a controversy. Men in tights, what's masculine, what's not. That homophobia that just kind of pigeonholes people and teaches young boys that, ballet is for sissies or this or that and the other. And it appears that more and more boys are entering ballet schools from what I hear, from what I understand, what I see on stage. But that's been a tough nut to crack, hasn't it?
Right.
I mean, changing that perception. And of course, now we know there are a lot of male dancers out there who speak to it very openly and say, hey, this is tough. Football players are in the NFL take ballet training for balance.
Lynn Swan.
Exactly.
Right, many years ago.
So can we talk about that? What's the status in your mind with that issue? Because it is an issue for many.
I think, like you had said, I think it's changing. We have a lot of young boys, little boys in our class, in our studio. There's kind of a gap where there's no boys. We're hoping.
I think that's like a COVID gap, though.
Yeah.
But I think dance is being a little bit more related to sports and how we can do it. We just met a young man this summer who was at a ballet school in Pennsylvania, went to Central Pennsylvania Youth Ballet, and he was only 10 years old, but he was so good and tall. And so we were setting out talking to his father, and he was talking about his son was the star basketball player on his youth team. And he says, yeah, the guys all say, how does he jump so well? And how does he do this? And his dad goes,
balance.
he takes ballet every day. They go, oh, he does? They go, yeah, and that's where he gets it from, all the ballet training he's had.
Yeah, the leaping.
So there's, I think fathers out there that are helping support both the dance and the athletics. And I hope, like we were just talking.
Well, it's a generation. Maybe those parents are a generation now. They're more open-minded and they're less likely to buy into those old stereotypes about what makes a good father, soft and nurturing, right?
Right.
Rather than the macho kind of Marine Corps instructor kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. For anything, just it troubles me when I see dance companies and there are no men.
Yeah.
It's lopsided. You know.
I mean, we tried really hard to get we've got a couple boys that are coming up. They're 12. I think they're 12. So, they're just.
Well, how are you? Let's talk. Another thing that I'm passionate about and promoting is diversity. Are you drawing people of color into your program?
Yes, we do.
Latinos, African Americans.
Right.
Yeah.
Living in Carmel, the diversity is not.
Our strongest suit.
But
getting
I
better.
can tell you anecdotally, when I go to events out in Carmel, it's pretty racially pretty mixed, and
It
I
is
think
getting
that's
better.
changing.
Yes, it is changing.
In the schools too, isn't it?
Yes.
I really think it's very diverse up there.
Yeah.
Well,
and we're bringing in so many different festivals of, different
and you're bringing in all
nationalities
those
and
new corporations and businesses who are bringing people into that community. I really think the fabric is changing at Carmel. That's that old stereotype about it being, they're all wealthy, they're all white, blah, 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 blah. So you're beginning to see it in your own program.
Yes, much more than it used to be.
And what do you say to those folks out there, who struggle? Okay, again, it's dangerously closest to stereotypes, but I know in my own experience that there's still a lot of people of color who say, well, that's not for me, or that's elitist, or that's Eurocentric, or that's old-fashioned. There's nothing. So you've got contemporary dance, though, right, to offer people, right? Do you see that as a back door?
Yeah, we have contemporary, we have modern, we have tap, we have hip-hop, we have.
But most of the kids that we're seeing are coming in for ballet. because predominantly that's our culture as a ballet school.
So how much of a Misty Copeland just retired, and she really, a lot of eyes followed her in her career, including a lot of black kids out there. And I think that she's single-handedly, but there are many more Misties coming to the forefront. Do you see that in ballet?
I just had this conversation with a little girl about, a month ago, and she kind of feels it, when she takes dance class sometimes, and she goes, well, I watched Misty Copeland's final performance, and I know I can do this now. And I talked to her mom, and I was like, I had like tears in my eyes when she said that. I was like, oh, that's, you're right, like 100%, and let's have these conversations
you
about
hear it all the time from black performers, Latino performers. For a long time, I didn't see anyone who looked like me, and then I began to, and that's when I knew there was hope that I could also.
Right.
They need to see those role models out there. So you think that's happening, at least in your corner of the world?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I, the one thing is, we're seeing a lot more Latinos coming into the dance studio and wanting the ballet, because we do.
I'm thrilled to hear that. I'm Mexican American, and I keep an eye on that immigrant population. Those kids are in school right now. There's a lot of raw talent out there, just waiting to be channeled. Right.
We just noticed the last couple of years.
Folklore companies are all over the place now in Indianapolis, right?
Right.
So, are you seeing anything coming out of that community? Those folkloric dance companies. I mean, I would think a lot of those performers are interested in training. Would you think, or do you have any awareness of that?
I don't.
Yeah.
Do you?
I'm just wondering if they're showing up in schools. In other words, for further, it kind of opens up the door. What do you think about over the years pop music? Every act now, starting with MJ, and after copied him and backup dancers. Okay, so how much of an impact has that had on your work, or on schools? People who see these backup dancers, and I want to do that contemporary dance, if you will.
I would say that there's a lot of kids that want to do that. In our school, we don't we have one. Well, I guess we have two now. Hip hop classes. But it's not our focus.
No, right.
But the studios, there's several really big, which would consider competition schools that are really primary jazz. They have ballet, but they're.
Well, I just wondered if they start with wanting to be a backup dancer, but along the way they discover ballet that way, just because
Maybe I don't know that we've seen that.
So what are your well, it sounds to me like you've reached your long-term goals, because you're just continuing. You've been doing it. It's growing, and so. But do you have a building that you own, or do you have those kinds of dreams?
No, well, I'm going to retire. One of these days. I retired and then I came back because I just couldn't stay away.
Okay.
So, for me, my retirement is probably in the next year or two.
Okay.
I'll be gone, and Ashley will own this.
What brought you to make that decision? Well, you said you retired, but then you changed your mind, which is okay. It happens all the time.
Well, there's some things.
Aaron Rodgers has done I don't know how many times.
Right.
Michael Jordan retired lots of times too.
Yeah.
Well, I retired and I came back, but age is creeping up on me, and there's I have 4 grandchildren, and time. I'd like to do traveling before I can't. You get too old, your body wears out, and so.
Yeah,
it has to be passed on to a younger generation.
Sounds like you're the future. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, in 2021, my husband and I purchased part of the school.
Okay.
And we're kind of on a payment plan because she's not quite ready to retire, but slowly, transitioning. And then same with the company. I guess maybe not so much.
I stepped down from artistic director
In 2020.
In 20
Great year.
2020, and
So you are an emeritus now?
well, I'm the executive director.
Okay.
I came back as
When
executive.
will you earn that title of emeritus? After you're
She
gone?
finally retires.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So with the studio, long-term goal probably would like to own a business or own a building and rent. You know what I mean?
What does that look like? In the heart of Carmel and the Arts District?
Well, that's funny you ask because we just met with a realtor on Monday and it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Just kind of starting the process of
I'm going to
like
put a
asking those
bee in your
questions.
bonnet. You know, the Joffrey has a studio in downtown Chicago somewhere. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
seen
right.
it. And it's
Yep.
like
Yep.
windows. You can look and see people dancing.
Yeah.
You know,
My husband
wouldn't
used to
that
work
be
across-
cool?
That would be very cool.
Yeah,
That sounds
very
really
cool.
expensive though.
I bet. Well, maybe we'll hear some donors out there, and we'll plant a seed.
Yeah. So like I said, we just had a meeting on Monday, just kind of, what's the 5-year plan, what's the 10-year plan, what's the 15-year
strategic
plan.
planning.
But with the company, one of my goals, one of our goals was to own all of our Nutcracker backdrops. So for the past 25 years, we've been renting them. And so this just, a couple months ago, we got word that we got a capital grant for those, so we can purchase them. And
Who painted them? Or a series of people?
well, they're not painted now.
Okay. Okay.
So we always rent backdrops from, it's called Kenmark backdrops. And they're-
I see. All
yeah.
right. Well,
But so now
yeah.
they screen print them, so they're not
Yeah.
like these huge,
do you
100-pound
guys use video?
backdrops.
Do you use video?
No, but that's another.
Well, we do, right at the very beginning.
Yeah.
You know, video has become pretty commonplace in musical theater, and I've seen a lot. Not dance and opera, you can create whole worlds,
Yeah.
and save money too.
Right. Right.
Right. Well, the young man I was talking about, Price Suddarth, who retired from Pacific Northwest Ballet, just recently has his own company called Jump Cut, and that's what he's incorporated
cool.
is video with his choreography. He's
I
a wonderful
love it
choreographer.
because I come from a TV background. I've made films and all, so I love it that you can marry those, some set pieces and yeah, you can. I just the last couple of years, I've seen frequently on Broadway shows and whatever, but. And what's the name of the Frozen? I saw a production of Frozen, and they used video animation to take
They
you to
do the
Russia.
projector, yeah.
Oh, stunning,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah,
Have you seen IU's Nutcracker?
I have not yet.
Oh, go talk
Yeah.
about video within the Nutcracker.
Yeah.
We went and saw it last year's Sasha Jane's choreography, and they take you play like you're talking about.
Yeah.
The set really never moves,
Changes.
Yeah.
changes.
But it projects onto the set.
Yeah.
Right. So
Well, I try not to infuse myself and my own background to these shows, but I have to jump in to say that, I love talking about ballet, and I'm a huge fan. I'm more than a fan of ballet because I ran a company for a short time. I
you
like
did?
to say a minute.
Oh.
Yeah, Ballet International.
Oh. Uh-huh.
And I can't even remember the year, but I have the great fortune of managing that company with Eldar Aliyev, who was the artistic director. And it was there I met all these people here didn't know, but they were famous Russian dancers who had danced at the Kirov and the Bolshoi. And I had the pleasure. One December, I spent the whole month going to every Nutcracker performance because I had to be there because I was like in charge. I had to meet donors and talk to audience people. But I had the great privilege of sitting in the wings and also during the rehearsal during Nutcracker. And oh my gosh, I can't tell you, it was a rarefied experience to see the work of those former dancers. The Russians created the art form, right? And to see these descendants dance the ballet, in Nutcracker in particular, it really truly was. I can't even describe how special that felt. And so since then, I have a great appreciation for what you all do to train. And so how much of that Russian technique do you use? I mean, maybe I'm misspeaking. Is there such a thing? I mean, you know, has there been something that's come out of that that's quote more modern, or do you basically you use the basics, what was developed?
Well, there is a Vaganova technique that came right out of Russia with April Vaganova in the early 50s. We do not teach the Vaganova method at our school.
Okay.
Strictly.
You know, we are kind of a combination of American Ballet Theater training and then a Marcia Day Wary Central Pennsylvania Youth Ballet training. So
Yeah.
what we in our school feel is we give our dancers just a good, clean technique.
Gotcha.
With the understanding that when they go to a university program or a company, that they have a good enough technique, but they also understand the stylistic approach of others, like a Balanchine company.
Exactly. Okay.
So that's where we're at as far as what kind of technique we
Well,
teach.
you're educating me right now that there is, you know, that has come out of that tradition, though.
So like Indianapolis Ballet that's here, they're primarily Balanchine technique.
Yes.
Which is, so, you know, we do, you know what I mean?
Well,
They're just two different, it's the same, but
But
just
you're saying that when
different.
your students go to other companies or go to schools, that they then can adapt to whatever they're teaching,
Correct.
what we try
right?
to teach them. Yes.
Yeah, they've got the basics. in order.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was trained in Cecchetti
Mm-hmm.
and Russian, not Vaganova, but Russian technique. So then I've got part of that in what I grew up with. So there's still a Cecchetti, Cecchetti and Vaganova.
And of course, having managed a ballet company, I also once ran a theater company. And I have my own small company, Magic Thread Cabaret, which I have to give a shout out to. But I know a thing or two about arts administration, and so I love asking questions about arts administration because I've been there, And so you guys. Well, how was it to go from being an artist to also having to learn the business? Was it easy for you? Let's start with you, Suzanne. Or did you have some kind of a job or background in business that you could easily do that?
I did work in an insurance industry for a while.
Okay. Transferable skills. What
Right.
was that?
And my father, believe it or not, he owned a farm
Okay.
on a ranch out in California, and he was a very good businessman. He owned property and things like that. So I learned a lot from my dad business-wise. I was
cool.
always on the business
farmer's
side of
daughter.
it. Farmer's daughter.
Yeah.
Well, he was a teacher. Actually, he was a school teacher, but
Okay.
he kind of had this. It was an
Yeah.
almond orchard
Oh, wow.
with a few head of cattle on it, but it was almonds. He grew almonds.
How about the rest of those? Chickens, pigs, any of those creatures?
Chickens, no pigs,
turkey.
and a turkey that Dad finally had to just cage because the turkeys are mean.
Yeah.
Mean. So I think with that,
You had a knack for it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Somebody told me, "Oh yeah,
Well-
your brain's equally divided between the arts."
Well, if you've been doing it for over 25 years, you know something about business, right? Running a business, Even though not for profit, it's still a business,
So, yeah, and that's sometimes you have to remind your board this is we got to get.
And
we're a
your
business.
donors expect you to be good stewards, that you
Right.
run your organization like a business, And how about you, Ashley? How do you?
So when I was at IU, I took a lot of business classes. I actually remember being in, I don't remember what business class
Were you
it was.
intentional for that? 'Cause
Yes,
okay,
intentional.
all right.
Yes, it wasn't a business minor, but I remember being in a class, and I don't remember what the class was called, but I was the only one that was not a business major.
Interesting.
And the teacher goes, "What's your major?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm a dance major." And he goes, "That doesn't exist. What are you, like, what's your real major?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like what?" But so I took, I would say almost every semester I tried to take a business class, knowing that there is a
Very
business,
smart.
there is a business side of it. But also between my junior and senior year of college, I went out to Boston Ballet, and I was their arts administration
Wow.
intern.
Do you happen to know Michael Johnson?
I do.
course,
Yeah,
yeah,
Oh,
we do.
he danced
Yep.
at Boston
Yep.
Ballet?
Yeah,
So-
and his wife, Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you all know each other in the dance community?
Yeah, it's just,
though,
it's a small world. It's a large world, but
sure.
it's a small world.
And I've
Yeah.
had a lot of folks on, David Hochoy, for instance, and so on and so forth, Don Steffi,
Right.
so on and so forth. But yeah, I love talking to dancers and people who run dance companies because it's like such a tough sell in so many
Yeah.
ways, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a very small, but let's talk about what do you need as an organization? You have this opportunity to I want to give you the opportunity to tell folks who are listening, what is it that people can do to support you all? Then there are many ways besides gifts, but let's talk about funds, okay?
I mean, first and foremost, come watch us. Buy tickets. That's the easiest way to help support us. Not just a donation.
Come see the product.
Come see the product. Like you said, we've already done Nutcracker, but we have 2 other shows. We are the only youth resident company of the Center of the Performing Arts in Carmel. So we do our 2 spring shows at the Tarkington in Carmel. One is like a mixed. It's called Mixed Rep, but it's classical and contemporary dance. But then also in May we're doing Peter Pan, so our kids will be flying. So that's a really fun show. So that's number 1 is, come watch us. But number 2 also, we're always looking for, people who enjoy the arts, like volunteer time, volunteer, board members who aren't, necessarily parents, don't, just someone who just supports the arts and wants to see, an organization grow. But then also, like you said, like donations also help. So.
What's your website address?
Our website is CIDEdance.org.
Do you have a donate button on there?
We should.
Yeah, yeah. And tell me about the school. How can people? Same website has everything on it.
So our school,
shop?
No, our school is CIAOdance.com. So Central Indiana Academy of Dance.com, and come bring your kids to dance class. Again,
Come see our showcase
Yeah.
June 6th.
yeah, that show only for the school we only have 1 show, like our annual showcase student.
Okay, so
showcase.
you have the opportunity to. You're in an elevator. You've heard this. If you're a fundraiser, you're in an elevator, and you're standing there with a president of a bank or insurance company, or a decision maker of some kind, and you have like an elevator ride to tell them what your mission is. What is it?
Bringing
Or to
dance.
pitch your
Yeah,
organization.
bringing dance to youth in Central Indiana, making it accessible for all dancers and people.
Mm-hmm. And what do you say to any young people out there listening who, who might, and is there, how old can one be before they decide to take up dance? There's no cutoff. What if like someone who's like 14 or 15 and like, I've always wanted to dance, but
So it'll be
am
tough.
I too old?
Yeah, it'll be tough. The hardest part, I think, when we have 14, 15-year-olds that come, they don't want to dance with the younger kids. But that's where you have to learn the basic foundation. And like I said, I started late. I was 10 and I started dancing with 6-year-olds. But you have to learn the foundation. And the fastest, the sooner you learn the foundations, the sooner we can move you up to kids that are closer to your age, and just keep going.
Go ahead.
And like you had talked about Misty Copeland started ballet at 14.
Yeah.
So, Price Suddarth started ballet at 14. Ended up being a soloist with Pacific Northwest Ballet. If the drive is there and the passion's there,
Just keep
then
pushing yourself.
just keep pushing and go for it.
So, Suzanne, it sounds like you're pretty comfortable with passing this on to your daughter. So tell me your thoughts about having experienced, the continuum of her life as her mom.
Well, I, was thrilled that she wanted, for a long time, I didn't know if she would want to do what I was doing. We hadn't had that conversation, high school moms and daughters.
Yeah.
So I was thrilled, close to the end of her senior, or I guess your senior year of college, that she was really talking more about this. So it's nice.
So you tried hard not to be a stage mom all those
I
years.
absolutely tried hard not to.
Not to be Mama Rose.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Dance is hard. The arts is hard, and I feel like you have to have that passion here in your heart to be successful and to want to do it, because it's so easy to be trampled down in the arts, as we've talked about a little bit earlier. So, I am very comfortable with her taking over. She's a real smart girl, and she's got a good business head on her shoulders too.
So your mother must have modeled pretty well, right, Ashley?
Yeah. She's a great, she's a great businesswoman and artistic head on her shoulders. And I mean, everything I know is probably 99% from her. So, yeah.
Well, listen, thank you for joining me today. I've learned a lot about your organization, and make sure I'm on your email list for press releases, because unless I get press releases, it's not on my radar.
Yep.
But I'm excited to. You just made me remember. I knew this, but I had that you're a partner at the Center for the Performing Arts. So you've been there from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
How extraordinary has that been?
Amazing.
To have that facility with their bells and whistles.
Yeah.
When I go to Booth Tarkington Civic Theater productions, I'm amazed at the Broadway quality.
Right.
Right. The lights and sound and whatever it's still state of the art, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing for us, because for so many years before it was built, we go into the high schools. And, high schools are, well, I can remember being at Carmel High School, and it was right before they did the renovation, and we had to bring all of our equipment in because they had nothing. They were stripping everything down. So it's nice to have a theater that we can perform at.
And has that audience that supports the center and all of its, and I would be interested in a breakdown of how, I had Jeff McDermott on the show recently, and that I should have asked him that, have you broken down the overlap? People who've discovered these other companies when they've come to the Palladium, for instance, or vice versa. Has everybody benefited from the overlap of audiences? Have you seen anything of the different groups there?
I mean, we don't
ATI and
we don't
Gregory
see
Hancock?
the numbers, but we do try to collaborate. Like we all, all the resident companies, support each other. We all put, our trade ads, so that our season program has all of their ads in it, and vice versa, so that trying to just support each other, because the arts are hard.
Sure.
But I don't know how that goes to the audience.
Do you agree
exactly.
that there are other markets where I hear there's just like, it's like the competition, for audiences, and yet here. Folks are very collaborative. And I see a lot of partnerships, and it's a quote, I can never remember it. It's something about when we rise, everyone wins. I can't remember. Do you know the quote, what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember it either.
It's a great quote. I got to learn it. I got to put it right here, because it often...
Yeah, but when everyone works together, everyone rises. But when you work separately, everyone...
Yeah. We're all in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
And, but it does get tricky. But, in my experience as a fundraiser, there are a lot of fundraisers out there. It's not unusual for them to support 4 or 5 groups at the same time.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a great opportunity for me to come to get to know you guys. And, I look forward to... tell us again what's coming up when this airs. I think we haven't got to. Go ahead and tell us what
March
the shows are.
8th is our mixed rep performance. It's a one-day show at the Tarkington. That's our mixed rep, and I believe the show's at 2 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's at 4 o'clock, and there's a silent auction before starting at 2. And then May 16th and 17th is our Peter Pan. We have 4 shows of that. So just a storybook ballet, but really fun opportunity and flying.
Excellent.
So,
And Suzanne, anything you would like to say to our listeners? before you go off to that?
Retirement land? Maybe.
Maybe.
No, just, if you have a chance, come out and see our performances and check us out.
And support your local arts
and support-
organizations.
Exactly. Support
Okay, well,
arts
keep an eye out for me because you may see me on the aisle.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd
great.
be great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our thanks go out to our media sponsor, Urban Times. Urban Times is a monthly news magazine which serves as the official newsletter for 15 Indianapolis neighborhoods, offering news about development, arts and entertainment, and from the business community. Thank you for joining me on the aisle. Please subscribe to my podcast, and if you want to hear previous episodes, find them on the All Indiana Podcast Network, or listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. This is Tom Alvarez.
Who will take center stage on the podcast next? Your seat on the aisle with Tom Alvarez awaits. Follow Tom on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure to visit tomalvarez.studio. Watch Tom every other Thursday on Lifestyle Live on Wish TV, and make sure to listen every week here on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.